I think often the kind of medical profession hides behind euphemistic terminology. And as you say, people know it's a baby, whereas often it's described as products of conception or a pregnancy or pregnancy tissue. The reality of second trimester abortion, so, one of the most disputed areas between 12 and 24 weeks, roughly that period, that is how surgical abortions happen. They happen by dismembering the baby and by crushing its skull if it's too hard to be.
That's not true. As an abortion doctor myself, up to 14 weeks, and we have to remember, let's go back to this.
But hang on, what's not true?
No, so this is the thing.
He's talking about in second trimester.
After 14 weeks, it's done by a vacuum. After 14 weeks, it's done by forceps pulling them apart.
Over 13. So let's be accurate here.
Okay, yeah.
And
so
let's
14
remember
to
that
24 weeks, it's done by dismemberment, and that is the truth.
Yeah, but let's remember that 90%.
Okay, 90% happen before 14 weeks, but before 13.
Before 13. And 80% before 10 weeks.
So but for an abortion that happens, dismembered heads into women's minds is just unnecessary. I had an abortion, and I can tell you, it's like a really bad period.
How many weeks?
It was about nine or so. Yeah. And it is like a really bad period. There is no dismembered baby sitting there in the toilet. There is none of that. Absolutely. It is like a really, really heavy period.
And there is no
and that's obviously the majority. But the point Callum is making is that for some who have abortions beyond 14 weeks,
like so 10% are after 13 weeks, and 10% of 200,000 is a lot. It's 20,000 after 13 weeks.
It's not right. Okay, I mean, and it's not pleasant to talk about it either. But obviously, they're making the point that it isn't pleasant what actually happens at that stage. So do go back to what you were saying about.
So after 14 weeks, where it's done by dismemberment, there are still many thousands of babies who have had their lives ended in this way. Up to after 24 weeks, even, it's legal up to birth for things like Down syndrome or cleft palate, or even if there's twins. And I think when people find out actually the reality of the abortion law, the English abortion law sticks out like a sore thumb. If you look at the rest of Europe, they have radically lower abortion limits. Many of these countries don't allow abortion for things like Down syndrome or cleft palate, or because there are twins. And I think actually when we kind of inform people of the facts on abortion, most people I speak to have no idea what it involves, and they're absolutely horrified to find out what our law actually says.